I mean, before the COVID pandemic, but we see it also now. We discussed this with Filiberto many times in some of the studies that we carried out together on the rise of pre-batched cocktails, draft cocktails, packaged cocktails, and so on. How do you work with that? In your strategy with Nove di Dante, are you playing in that space with key opinion leading bartenders around the world, creating cocktails that are made with Nove di Dante, or are you more let's say a purist? Like you go more the neat way and just have it as your, let's say, strategy.
No, I'm not a purist. I do believe it. I'm a big fan of cocktail culture as well, and I think that vermouth has an increasing role to play in it, at least a branded role or a named role to play in it as well. I'm actually very fascinated by the whole movement around pre-batch cocktails. It's having been in the industry for a while, it's not an easy thing to do, primarily because of cost, packaging, logistics, etc. But it has been really a very important tool for the HoReCa and for the bar industry during this crisis. So it in many cases it has allowed them to continue to have, although a continued stream of income, and I think that has been great. I don't know how it will continue in the future, the pre-batch cocktail. I do think it will stay. I think that bars, as they have discovered an opportunity for a takeaway, let's call it, or for at-home consumption, there will certainly be a lot of models developing of how that can perpetuate itself in time, and it will be very interesting to follow. For us with Nove di Dante, we're a very young company, so in a way, this crisis has caught us a bit too early to play a significant role in it. But yes, I mean, we will obviously very much look to partner with our partners in different markets and with the bartending community to see how we can play our part in it as well.
Thank you. And I have a last question. You mentioned earlier the polarization. Let's say, like, consumers are looking for lower alcohol consumption. At the same time, you mentioned, the gin and tonic was, the drink of the decade. I like that terminology because it's very much so. Like that has made people, together with IPAs and so on, like more used to bitter flavors. But we also see, a rise, for example, in the US of these hard seltzers, which is a bit of the other extreme of the Nolo. In one, there's spirit with no alcohol, and in another one, there's, let's say, water or liquids with added alcohol. Where does vermouth play in this space? Is it sort of like stuck in between, or it plays along these trends, or how do you see that?
I think we're in the sweet spot. We're in the perfect territory of what a balanced lifestyle is. We keep talking about Mediterranean diet. Well, part of the Mediterranean diet is a conscious but also moderated approach and interaction with alcohol, and that has been made possible mainly because aperitifs, which one vermouth is one of the leading figures, right? The whole thing around low alcohol, hard seltzers, I mean, it's fascinating. I mean, as somebody who loves innovation and who loves the industry and who loves people coming up with new ideas that challenge the status quo of the thinking, it really it's great, and it's interesting because no alcohol or no low it aims to take the alcohol out of a drink, and hard seltzer aims to put alcohol on a non-alcoholic drink. Personally, I think, however, that it would be interesting. I mean, it'd be difficult to see where it all goes. You know, I'm much more interested in how to put a little bit of alcohol into some things than how to take alcohol out of it. I do think that there is a need and room for grown-up drinks beyond Coca-Cola that you can enjoy when you don't want to have alcohol. But we're seeing a lot of things out there, and a lot of them are nonsensical, you know, and there is no rules, which is okay in a sense. But I think as a consumer, if I'm going to be asked to pay the same amount of money for a product that I would pay if it had alcohol, where about a third of the price or up to a third of the price can be taxed, then I need to really, really like the drink if it is going to cost that much money without alcohol. So I do think that something will succeed. I don't know what it will be, but when it does succeed, it will be because people like it and because it's very cool, not because it doesn't have alcohol.